cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to our online seminar workshop. I'm your guest speaker for today. My name is Jessamine Gizaldo Sarita. I'm already married. I have one daughter. I work as a graphic designer and I graduated at Cebu Technological University course of Bachelor of Science in Graphics and Design. I work as a graphic artist in a well-known company for almost 5 years. Again, welcome to our online seminar workshop. Before we proceed for our topic for today, for you, what is stress? Yes, very good. Stress, for example, stress it is somehow you experience because you broke up with your girlfriend or boyfriend. So in that matter, you feel stress. Our topic for today in chapter 6 talks about stress. So, stress, every one of us experience stress because it is normal part of our life. Stress may be pleasant or unpleasant. It is term commonly used to describe a feeling or emotion. It is the process by which the individual responds to environment and its psychological events. There are ways stress can occur. Example is stress signals. It acts as a red light or bell warning to tell us that action is ended to prevent more serious problems for developing. So the following examples of stress signals are physical, mental, emotional, and behavioral. So in stress signals, in physical aspects, there are certain examples are change in breathing, rhythm, tense in aching muscles, and headaches. While in mental aspects, sample are lack of concentration, more frequent mistakes, forgetfulness, and absent-mindedness. In emotional aspects are irritation or short temper, nervousness, depression or silence, and in behavioral, the insomnia, increased drinking, smoking, eating, and absenteeism. So, how to cope up stress? So, for you, when you cope with stress, like you go to beaches, hobbies, and several ways. There are three major ways of coping with stress. First is cognitive response. So in cognitive coping involves reappraisal, raising of esteem, and developing self-efficacy. So in stress can be reduced by examining the situation and identifying its positive aspects. So that's the first in cognitive response. The second, coping with stress, is the informational response. So it is uncertainty caused by lack of information contributes to the stress of the situation. And also it's seeking out information and gaining a better understanding of stressful situation, important steps in coping with stress. The third coping with stress is the behavioral response. So there are following suggested of behavioral response. First is to sleep well, eat well, avoid harm, and exercise regularly, and develop and maintain relaxation program. Do things you enjoy, develop hobbies, and learn to set aside problems temporarily. Have a clear picture of your life goals, nurture your faith dimension, and take a break on vacation. So those are the three major ways of coping with stress. Again, what is it? First is a cognitive response. second is an informational response, and the third is behavioral response. Did you experience stress? Yeah, all of us experience stress, but the most important thing is we cope up with the stress. So, it is important to apply the three major ways of coping with stress. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Most Filipino who are hit by the worst disasters such as floods, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions or experience shock usually suffer a series of acute stresses called post-traumatic stress disorder. Mostly of the Filipino experience or suffer post-traumatic stress disorder because they feel um, they feel hurt and pain and also shock among the happenings in surroundings. So for you, what is conflict? For example, conflict, you set a date for your boyfriend or girlfriend and suddenly it is conflict for your time schedule. So that is the example of conflict. What is conflict? Conflict, it is to resolve when we must make a choice of alternatives and cannot arrive at the decision. And also one of the confusing things about frustration and conflict is that each may be consequences of the other. So there are four types of conflicts. First is a approach. Second is a avoidance. Third is approach avoidance. And fourth is a double multiple approach. So, first type of conflict is an approach. It is the type of conflict when the individual has two desirable but mutually exclusive goals. Second type of conflict is the avoidance. This type of conflict when there are two undesirable situations but cannot avoid one without encountering the other. Third type of conflict is the approach avoidance. The conflicts occur when the person is both attracted and repelled by the same person, object, or situation. Fourth type of conflict is a double or multiple approach. This type of conflict, one is attracted to two positive goals, but each one has negative consequences. Example of approach conflict is a student who has just finished his course is offered two jobs which are both good but must only one job of these is selected. So in real life, did you experience type of conflict like approach? Yes, because for example, as a student, you have finished your course and you have a two opportunity, but you selected only one. So it is an example of approach conflict in real life situation. So the second type of conflict is avoidance. For example, a father dislikes his job, but he can resign because he has a family to support. So in real life, did you experience that kind of conflict? Avoidance? Yes, because in real life, all of us experience that. However, we feel pain, we feel hard of the job, but we think first that to sustain our family. The third type of conflict is the approach avoidance conflict. So, for example, a male student likes to play basketball to acquire social acceptance, but at the same time is afraid to be hurt and thought of as weak and sickly or incapable of playing this game. This type of conflict is a approach avoidance conflict. So, did you experience that in real life? Yes, it is true. Like for example, there are two choices between two potential dates. So one is good looking but boring. Second is one is fun but short. So for you, what did you select? So it's up to you. So for you, what is defense mechanism? Alright. It is important to us we have a defense mechanism in ourselves, like for the people that blood surrounds us. Defense mechanism, it is an unconscious psychological mechanism that reduces anxiety arising from unacceptable or potentially harmful stimuli. According to Sigmund Freud, there are common defense mechanisms like displacement, repression, regression, and sublimation. So there are examples of defense mechanism. So there are examples of defense mechanism like compensation. It is strengthen one hide another, and denial refuse to face a negative behavior. Displacement take it out on someone else, and identification attached to something positive. So there are many ways we apply in our defense mechanism.
10 questions with 4 options, the A, B, C, and D. To choose from, all you have to do is to answer it honestly. So let's start. Question number 1. How do you cope up with stress? A. Have a vacation. B. Develop a relaxation program. C. Develop hobbies. Or letter D. Sleep well. Question number 2. In what aspects that stress affect in your life? A. Moral aspect. B. Physical aspect. C. Spiritual aspect. Or letter D. Emotional aspect. Question number 3. What type of conflict that you experience in your life? A. Approach. B. Avoidance. C. Approach avoidance. Or letter D. Double or multiple. Question number 4. What defense mechanism you applied in yourself? A. Compensation. B. Displacement. C. Denial. Or letter D. Identification. Question number 5. You're the kind of person that is easily get upset. A. Agree. B. Disagree. C. Neutral. Or letter D. Cannot decide. Question number 6. You like to solve complex problem in your life? A. Agree. B. Disagree. C. Neutral. Or letter D. Cannot decide. Question number 7. You're the kind of person that love to help with others? A. Agree. B. Disagree. C. Neutral. Or letter D. Cannot decide. Question number 8. You're the kind of person that enjoy the beauty of nature? A. Agree. B. Disagree. C. Neutral. Or letter D. Cannot decide. Question number 9. You're the kind of person that try to anticipate the needs of others? A. Agree. B. Disagree. C. Neutral. Or letter D. Cannot decide. Question number 10. You're the kind of person that have a low opinion of self? A. Agree. B. Disagree. C. Neutral. Or letter D. Cannot decide. Based on the personality test you've answered, what kind of personality are you?
Thank you so much for listening. There are any question? Not. And hope I will see you to our second session. Thank you and God bless. Once again, I'm Jessamine Crizalo Sarita, your guest speaker for today.